Hey everyone, it's CurlyHairedHero, and welcome back to some more Prince of Tennis 2005 Crystal Drive. We're here in the trial singles quarterfinals. And trial singles basically is a team of 3 take on singles bouts where you can switch players of those 3 pretty much at any time. I think the only main restriction is that you can't do it during a serve, but pretty much any other time you can switch. So I actually ordered this incorrectly because I was going to try and do Sengoku only for this tournament, but somehow I got stuck with Bunta. I don't know how I might have done the ordering in reverse. But basically what I did last time was I was trying to do sort of a catch-all, or trying to make sure everyone gets some playtime here by every 2 games switching out and letting a new player play the game, because it's kind of annoying for me to switch every second in between points or anything like that. And since the players themselves don't necessarily have any sort of special skills that help balance each other out, I kind of just randomly selected players that I really like, both in this series and also in this game, and that they also have playstyles that I like using. So there's not really any sort of strategic advantage for me to switch in between games, and switching in and out every 2 games is a little annoying. So I figured what I could do is I would just stick here with Bunta for a little bit. We've unfortunately been hit with Mizuki's really obnoxious skill, which I just used myself, which for the duration of this game locks away your C gauge. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. There we go. So as you can see, we're both hitting here, and no matter what we do, we don't obtain any C gauge. So what I'm trying to do is get my super gauge up, even though I seem to be having a lot of trouble using specials with Bunta. But let's see what we can do here, because I know what his specials are. They're really cool. Can you just fucking you just fucking let the ball go through? My gosh, I've been trying so hard to not say my God or Jesus or Lord or any of that stuff. Not that I'm like super religious or anything like that. I did grow up in a quote-unquote Catholic household, and by that I mean I have Hispanic parents who, by culture have the fear of God instilled in them. So if they do anything bad or anything of the sort, they have eternal damnation to look forward to. So that kind of drove anything that we did, because I was like, oh, you do something bad, God's gonna fucking beat the shit out of you, so don't do that. So I was like, alright, man, relax. And I did also go to a Catholic school, which was pretty interesting. That sucks. I kind of wanted to use that. Pretty interesting moment in my life, but I myself wouldn't consider myself extremely religious. I wouldn't say I'm exactly an atheist per se, but I definitely don't go to church, and I don't, do any other super religious things. But at the same time, I kind of, I believe in, evolution and a lot of all these other things, but, there are certain portions where I just don't really feel like I get it well enough, or that I feel like science has explained it well enough for me. My biggest example being the Big Bang, because the whole thing with the Big Bang is that at some point there was nothing, in existence, and then shit just blew up, and then all of a sudden stuff started existing, and then eventually down the line we started existing. That just seems a little too, Deus Ex Machina, like convenient for me. So I kind of like to believe that there is maybe some other higher power or something that maybe had a hand in that, especially in like other sort of events in my life or in other people's life. I kind of feel like, you know, this whole God thing might actually be kind of possible. So that's sort of kind of where I fall religious wise, to be specific. So I try not to, you know, fall into either camp, but I try not to offend either camp, which is kind of a lukewarm position to be in because I can't really pick one or the other, because I don't really want to be super religious because there's a lot of things that I don't agree with, and I don't want to be super not religious because likewise there are some things that I don't entirely agree with. So in any case, I've just in general have been trying to, I guess, alright, that just landed. Alright, I thought I pressed the button to hit it, but it was a lot higher than I thought, so I didn't get to hit it, and then it kind of just went over me and landed, and apparently that just, god damn it, I hate it when they do that. When they switch the game, like, I wouldn't say it lags, but it kind of does a tiny bit, and it throws off my timing for serves, but, I've been trying not to use the Lord's name in vain, just for the sake of just not doing it. You know, I just feel like I can be a little bit more, I guess, creative with my exclamations, I guess, expressions. I don't know what you would call that. But the thing is that nothing really sounds as good, or maybe it's just the fact that, you know, I'm like 300 years old and I've been saying this for like 300 years, so it's gonna take a lot of doing for me to get out of this habit, right? But then on top of that, on top of that, everyone else is saying it too, right? And I'm not gonna like impose my weak, lukewarm ideals on anyone or anything like that. But obviously that just makes it a little bit harder. Yeah, but I just haven't found a correct alternative, you know? So when something happens, I can't think of anything appropriate, or not appropriate, or it's something good enough to replace oh my god, or oh god, or Jesus, or my lord. But slowly but surely, we'll get there. I keep trying to say like oh gosh, but that just doesn't come out right, and it's always like I'm about to say oh and then I kind of stop myself, so I very slowly say oh gosh, very awkwardly, which makes it sound even like, you know, worse. Like it rings in worse, like I'm trying to have something with the same like ring, but it doesn't. Especially when I butcher it in that way. But in any case, small little rant there about religion here. It's not exactly what I wanted to talk about today, but I figured I might as well, because I had a couple of topics I wanted to talk about today. Primarily, I just wanted to talk about sort of what's been going on lately, and I felt that this would be a good video for that, just because, as I've mentioned, Prince of Tennis is pretty notorious for me just using it as for like channel updates and life updates and just ranting and all that kind of jazz, you know. In general, my videos are kind of like that for the most part, but since, you know, I've been playing this game since I've been uploading videos to YouTube, that tends to mesh together, you know. So I figured it would be an opportune time to actually do it on purpose this time around. And I don't know. I'm just feeling kind of meh. I managed to record a video earlier today. Like I got up early. I had a rough night. Maybe this is the stem of it all. I just had a rough night, and it was just kind of one of those nights where like you go to sleep, but then you're constantly waking up in the middle of the night for really no real reason. And then either you have a really hard time falling asleep, like I did halfway through the night, or you just keep falling back to sleep, which happened to me 2 or 3 times. So that maybe threw me off my rhythm. But in general, I've been wanting to sort of get up today and use it to record a bunch of videos. Because in general, what I like to try and do is I like to finally came out, tightrope walking. What I typically like to do is have at least the videos that are going to be coming up in the coming week. So it's Saturday, so the next week I want to have by then either recording or editing the videos for next week, so the 4 or 5 videos that I'm going to upload in the following week. And then, if possible, I always try to have at least a week of videos as a buffer. So essentially I want to have 2 weeks of content ready to go. So in that case, you know, if something happens like life-wise, I need to take a break, or I just feel like taking a break, or whatever the case may be, I have that little buffer so I can stay consistent and get my, like, you know, my whole life together, my shit together throughout that time, right? And that's kind of like what I'm always aiming to do constantly throughout this entire, like, thing, is just always trying to hit that quota. And I usually have been able to hit that. Sometimes I've even been like a month in. And it's been really great and sort of stress relieving when I finally hit that. But at the same time, it's extremely stress inducing when I'm not at that, you know, that buffer. And I'm always trying to work towards that buffer, because my mentality is always like, all right, just work a little extra hard this day, and then maybe the next time. And then after that, you'll be able to just not have to work as hard. Because if I can get, you know, like a month worth of video as a buffer, then I only have to work, you know, a week's worth every single week. And then what that will do is we'll make it so that, you know, I have an entire month to play around with. So I can do a lot of different things like that. And that's always what I'm trying to do. And I try and force myself every single Saturday, because I work Monday through Friday, every Saturday, sometimes Sunday if I can, usually Sundays for editing, but to try and do that, which, you know, is pretty hard, because that's like me recording minimum 8 videos, assuming I'm doing a 4-week or 4-day schedule, which is what I've been aiming for right now to make myself, you know, remain a little sane. So in doing that, I sort of really stress myself out, because my only day off, I spend recording 8 videos. Each video is about 10-20 minutes. So that's about, let's say, 80 minutes, roughly 120 minutes of me recording stuff. That's 2 hours of at least me recording stuff. And that's not counting any of the time in between, setting up, if I have to, like, if I'm let's play some kind of game and I have to, like, progress in the game or something like that, you know, it doesn't take into account any of that stuff. So that's like maybe 3 hours straight of me having to record, after spending, you know, 8 hours straight working the past 5 days. And all I want to do on Saturdays is literally nothing, right? And then once that's finally done, I maybe if I actually get it done, then I try and maybe either relax or pressure myself into editing. But then I also try streaming on Saturdays as well. So then that's 2 hours that I try and stream, sometimes even 3, of just me putting myself out there. So that's basically, you know, 5 or 6 hours of my day gone. So it's basically like I'm working a 9-to-5 job 6 days a week. And then that would only leave Sunday. But then typically Sunday, since, you know, everyone in this house, me and my girlfriend, we work Monday through Friday. Sunday's the days that we have left to do errands and stuff. So we have to do laundry, grocery shopping, cleaning the house, whatever the case may be. So we get maybe a couple of hours to ourselves on Sunday. So that's totally not good. And that's kind of what hits me every single time. Every single Saturday we're going to try and do this. But no matter what, I keep trying to do it, because I'm hoping someday I'll hit this magic quota where I'll have just a bunch of videos ready to go. And then at the same time, I'll also have the ability to, like... Okay. Whew. That would have been pretty sick if you managed to hit that back. At the same time, I'd be able to like record a bunch of experimental things that I don't want to record, or that I don't, not that I don't want to record, that I don't usually record, and then I can kind of mess around with that. I'll have that little buffer, you know. I'll be able to be more comfortable recording wise, because I'll feel like I'll have the consistency quota or whatever completed, so then I can actually relax and enjoy what I want to do. So it's kind of like when you work a job that you kind of enjoy, but you have to do all the like bullshit to get to the parts you enjoy. That's kind of what it feels like, which isn't a good thing. So I'll see if I can maybe address that a little bit going forward, because if this process doesn't work, then it's just not gonna work, right? But in any case, thanks for listening to my ramblings. Take care of yourself.